In this tutorial, let's explore working with groups, specifically how we can create a group from a selection of clips. Now, we've got a scene in this case that has already been graded. In fact, let's say, for example, this wide shot, the grade was created with one node, and on this shot, for whatever reason, 3 nodes were used to create that particular grade, and each shot has its own unique corrections with its own amount of nodes. But what we want to do is be able to group all of these shots together and make an overall correction that is separate and unique from the clip's individual nodes. So the way to start is to make a selection. Now, I can either click on one clip and then hold down the Command key to select several non-contiguous clips or clips that are not next to one another, or I can Shift select, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to select just this range of clips, and I'm going to right click on one of the clips, and I want you to notice that there's an option here called Create New Group. Now, I'm going to keep this somewhat simple. Let's say that this group's name is just simply Outdoor Scene. I'm going to click OK. Now, even if I deselect this selection that I had previously made, these clips are actually kind of ganged together in a sense. Or I should say, actually wrapped in a container called a group. And we could see that these clips are actually part of a group because directly above each particular thumbnail, just to the right, you'll see this little green link. Now, clips that do not have a group, when you click on them, there will be no connections to other clips. But these clips actually are grouped together, and that brings up a whole new set of options. If I go up to the node graph into the upper right corner, I want you to notice now there's actually 4 options. Previously, there used to only be 2, clip and timeline. Now, we can grade the group either by choosing group pre-clip or group post-clip. Now, I'm going to keep this somewhat simple, but in a nutshell, basically, group pre-clip means that any nodes that you apply happen before any clip corrections. And if you make any group post-clip corrections, any adjustments that you make happen to all the clips after every node that's been applied to the individual clips. Now, in this particular case, let's say that the reason that we were grouping these clips is because we did want to make some overall adjustment to this range of clips. Now, this is actually a great scenario for grouping because these clips already have clip corrections where the clips really match one another somewhat closely. So if I choose group post clip right now, I'll see what looks like just a blank new node graph. But actually, this is a node graph for the group. Let's say, for example, in this particular case, we wanted to do something that overall subtly changed the scene. Now, again, because the clips already somewhat match one another, there's a good chance that if we make some mild or moderate correction, the clips will still match one another. Let's say, for example, we just made some subtle correction. We wanted to bring up the highlights a little bit, maybe bring down the midtones. So in other words, we're making it a little bit more contrasty. And just so we can actually see this a little bit better, let's go a little bit more extreme with color. So I'm going to go into the gamma and add a little bit more warmth into that. Now, if I go to the node that I've made these adjustments on, again, remember we're working in group post clip, and I turn off the node. So this was the original grade of all the shots. But when I turn this on, I didn't just change this shot. We'll notice that any other shot in the timeline now also is being affected by this look. Now, I just actually hit a shot that's not part of the group, so it also doesn't have the same look. So I'm going to go back to one of the shots that do have the look and go back to clip, group post clip, and turn off the look. So we could see that that look, although we set it over one clip, wasn't being applied to just one clip. Now, another thing about working with groups is that although we did group these clips together, the clips do still have independent control. So if I go back up to this menu and I do choose clip, now we can continue re-editing the nodes of individual shots. So for example, let's say for whatever reason we felt that this shot needed some new adjustments, we could add new nodes, change things, and I want to point out that you can even go to the color menu and choose to create new versions. So this shot is now on version 2, and I'm going to do something just very dramatic and crazy off the wall because I just want to point out that although I created new versions, these clips are still linked to one another. So it allows you to make some fine-tuning adjustments to your individual clips. Now, of course, this is a little off the charts than a fine-tuned adjustment. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this particular node, keyboard shortcut Shift Home. And maybe what we decided after we grouped these clips together was actually more of a subtle correction. That I created this new version so that I could try, let's say, pulling back on the warmth on this individual shot. And what I can now do is use Command B on the keyboard to go to the previous version, and now go to Command N to go to the next version. And in this case, obviously, there's even bigger differences between these two versions. But even switching between versions does not break this clip from the group. So you can make clip adjustments, group adjustments, and you can even make multiple versions of individual clips, and they will all stay within the group itself.